absolute blast to play with you and to go through all this with you. 20 years in a wheelchair and then to come out and do this is just unbelievable. You're an absolute inspiration. Unfortunately, Wednesday night we just made this Alliance of 5, and had that not happened, I would have loved to work with you. You were honestly a complete asset to the challenges. It was incredible. So, thank you.
This is the hardest one so far, but if you don't have confidence in your own game, then neither can I.
It doesn't matter. I've had numb fingers and about to pass out for about 3 hours now. But he hasn't had a vote, so let him get one. Get a little paranoid. Really love this game. It's pretty awesome.
Thank you.
Christine, the vote is for you. Did I spell her name wrong?
This is Train.
Okay, I'm sorry. In another game, the cards are dealt differently. I want to play with you to the end. And, I commend you for coming out here. Even, man, if I get voted out right now, I'll be crying also. But I'm proud of the way you played. And, I look forward to staying in touch with you.
So impressed with you, and you really stuck it out for a really long time, even though you had so many injuries. And I hope this doesn't bite me for being the only girl left, but you're awesome.
Christine, the tribe has spoken. Time for you to go.
When we were walking away, you
Yes.
said something about I didn't quit.
Yes.
Explain what you meant by that.
I have been not able to feel my fingers since I have no concept of time. So imaginary o'clock, maybe 3 hours ago, before we voted out Jen, I noticed I couldn't feel my fingers at all. And when I was sitting in tribal and I knew like it was me, I was like kind of doing this like, nope. And I didn't tell anyone that I was that bad, and I was getting really dizzy. My feet are so bad with blisters every which way. Like, no, I have the worst of everybody. I don't know why, but they're really gnarly, and it was going to be hard to really keep up. So it was more like I understood, because I didn't want to be like a medevac or anything, but I knew like I was going down real soon. Yes, and that's why I say it's not a quit, because I'm afraid that in your mind and others, it might be a concern that it's like, well, she gave them the easy out or whatever, but I'm telling you that, like, when you see my feet and you know how bad off I am right now, I want to see one of them win, and the fact is they weren't. I don't know. I've pulled my share, and I did a whole lot more than I ever expected to do, but you know, they had the decoy and like their faces weren't. I was like, look guys, like, well, actually, so it was, I think David that like saw when I got up that I was really dizzy and that I was kind of like messing with my hands. And I did tell him, like, you know, I kind of thought it was going to be me when it was Jen. I'm glad it wasn't. And then I I did really well for my piece of the challenge. On this last one, I mean, I was like, okay, I know where I'm going. I feel comfortable. I'm just going to run. And despite my feet, I'm like, I'm just going to keep walking. I don't care how much it incredibly hurts. I'm just going to push through and I'm good. Yeah. It's hard because, like, I actually can tell you, I want David to win this. Absolutely. And had I made the merge, like, no doubt, like, he was the one getting my vote to win. But I'm sorry, I'm a little dizzy. What was the question?
No, just so David would be the one that, like, when you go and watch some
Yes.
future challenges, that he's the one you're cheering on.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Is there anyone else on Zika that you think could take down the
Well,
title?
I really would like to see Brendan, and a lot of it is like he's a year older than my kid, and there's something about that where I just felt like, okay, like, you know, it'd be kind of cool to see him do it. And early on, his name had gotten thrown out, and I was like, gotta protect my kid, even though he's not my kid. And so it was really important to me. It was like those were the two I really wanted, but there was really no time today to try to get people together. And then after, like, I was getting paranoid. Rachel's like, you don't need to worry. Brendan said, you don't need to worry. David said, you don't need to worry. And then it was Jen, and I was like, huh, I didn't even get a single vote. Imagine that. So I'm sure me taking my shoes off and trying to get medical to try to bandage up is why I'm here. And I kept it a secret from a lot of my tribe, so I'm proud of myself for that. But I was in the Army, 1992 to 1996. I was at a training exercise and I fractured a vertebrae. I had a spinal fusion with 6 screws in my back, wore a body brace for 6 months. A car T-boned me and broke all the screws in my back. They had to go through my back. I have this really bad scar, so I didn't want to take my shirt off this whole time. They went through my front. They took a piece of my leg and put it as a dowel in my back, and they took cadaver bone and put it between where discs used to be. I'm the bionic woman. And then I ended up in a wheelchair for a year, unable to walk. And when they finally could, I had the VA actually is the one that took all the hardware out. I was 25 and I almost died right there. 25. My husband, who was in the audience today, he was there having to pin me down, like, to stop the bleeding and everything during that surgery. And I really felt self-pity way too much for myself over the last couple decades. I was on pain medicine for 23 years. In preparation for this, I got off it cold turkey and I haven't been on it in 2 months now, and I don't need it. So that was really important to me. I had 2 personal trainers I worked with and really made sure I got really strong. I lost 75 pounds in the last 2 years that I'd gained like the 5 years before, just really a lot of self-pity. And it was important to me because I'm a real huge fan of Survivor. And I just wanted to see, like, what a taste of it was like and get myself ready and see if I could do it and see if I could also hide the fact that I had this horrible spinal injury. And I did it. So I'm really happy. Wish my feet would have held up a little bit better.
Of all things, right?
Yeah, I mean, and also whenever we had food, I tried to give it to the bigger guys to help win the challenges. I wasn't doing a lot of the physical stuff. There was no point in me wasting food on me.
Well, I mean, I can tell you, watching you compete out there, wouldn't know any of that.
That's good.
Yeah, no, you.
I didn't want any of the other tribes to know anything about it, so I went in the pond yesterday with my shirt on because I was like, oh well, I'm just like mushy. I don't want to like take my shirt off. I didn't want anyone seeing that scar at all.
All right. Well, you're a big Survivor super fan.
I am.
You've flattered us all with how much stuff you've watched and how much stuff you've read, but you've now gotten your own taste of Survivor. Was it everything that you imagined it could be?
It was so much more than that, because I thought I'd be like crying Wednesday night, like, get me out of here or something. I'm like, look, in my real life, I go to the gym and I work out. Oh, I'm home and in that shower fast. I don't like the feel of sweat. I don't like the feel of dirt. I don't like the bugs. I don't like not having like perfect 68 degrees at all times, like cold, heat, whatever. And the starvation part didn't bother me because I gained some weight stressing out before this, so I just didn't want to risk. So I was like, oh, I could probably stand to stay out here a few more days. But this is so out of my comfort zone. Maybe midlife crisis. I turn 45 next month. And I felt like, for me, this is so out of my zone, and the fact that I did it, and, you know, I wish I'd done a better job at staying ahead of the hydration, of course. The blisters, haven't dealt with them in a long time, so I just didn't. I'm sure I did something wrong. Mostly I kept missing the rocks in the creek and getting my feet wet, and then we'd still have to keep walking. Well, I'm really short, and those rocks need to be moved a little closer. So,
Production will get right on that.
yeah. So aside from that, yeah, I knew I needed the mental will, and that's why when I got the blisters, I'm like, nope, I'm still gonna run. I'm still gonna just put on the facade, and it's go time. And I feel like I really accomplished that more. Like I'm gonna watch this back and be like, damn, she was pretty good.
I did that.
Yeah. So this is everything, and I'm not ruling out the real thing.
Don't. Keep working.
Yeah.